Hi Gemini, welcome to your mid-May 2021 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. So I'm recording this on the eve of the new moon in Taurus, which for you, because it's a sign before you, is the 12th house. And so any kind of seeds that you plant in the area of spiritual development and self-care, introspection, these kinds of things can be very fruitful because that's what the 12th house represents. Also this week we're having Jupiter go into Pisces. I can't remember if I've done a video for you specifically on that. I'm starting to do those videos of this transit, which is actually only going to be a few months in length before it goes back into Aquarius for the rest of the year. But that's it's a pretty substantial chunk of time, I would say. And in addition to that, in 2022, you're going to see it consistently for that year. So it gives you a preview of what you can look forward to. And for you, this is going to be in the 10th house of career, actually. So pretty cool. So look for some boost to your career as well. I'm just shuffling the cards here. I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot deck, which is a fun deck, and I just love the illustrations. I guess you'd call them drawings or pen and ink drawings. I just love them. I think if you're a beginner, I think you have to really know what the cards represent. Some of the cards you will not normally link to the definition or whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to pick an additional card. Yeah, there's the Hermit. There's the 12th house. Present and accounted for. So the heart of the mirror, I have to turn this over because it's I got it in a in the reversed position, and I had to see what it was because some of the cards, it is kind of hard for me to see what they are sometimes because the wands and the swords kind of look alike, but they do have different backgrounds, which is nice compared to some decks that I've owned. This is a card, when it's reversed, is actually not that negative. And there are some cards in the tarot that are similar to this. For instance, in the Major Arcana, the Sun card, even in the reversed position, is just kind of like, it would be like partial success or delayed success. And this is similar in that it can be a card of delayed success, but it still is on tap for you to experience this. And if you have a project that you have been wanting to bring to its conclusion, that's going to happen. But again, there could be some kind of delay. And this can mean that if you have any kind of thing that is impeding the success of a project initially, you will get there and you will be able to feel that sense of accomplishment and relax, maybe rest from it. This is also the card in the upright position of a new home. And so again, like in the reverse position, you may be able to do that, perhaps not on the timetable that you had hoped for, but it's like, still in the process of, occurring. So that's good, In the past position, we have the Two of Wands, and this can be like feeling this sense of a choice that needs to be made. I always point out that the Roman numeral 2 is just like Gemini. the symbol for Gemini. For all I know, it's taken from that. So it might be, that might not be a coincidence. But whenever you see the number 2, there's duality in that situation. This is a card of, should I stay? Should I go? Maybe choosing between 2 careers, or even within a project that you're, like the 4 of Wands in reverse, that you're bringing to conclusion. You have 2 choices of how to do that, and you might not have that clarity in your mind to be able to do so, because you're sometimes it could be being pulled into 2 different directions, or having to consider other factors that don't involve you sometimes. The 2 of Wands is a card of collaboration, and it's also a card of relocation, and that's why I was talking about like a move. So with the 4 of Wands in the challenge position, there may be something with a move or new property that is up in the air, hasn't been sorted out. And just to give you a little bit of a preview, there is going to be a Mercury retrograde in your sign at the end of May, and this may be figuring into all of this. This may play out because you might be rethinking something yourself, and this might, this reading might be kind of anticipating that, and perhaps you had this thing that you were going to do, and you thought that this decision you were going to make, you thought it was going to be a certain way, and you changed your mind. Gee, I wonder if Geminis ever do that. That's probably a very rare occurrence, right? The higher message is the Daughter of Pentacles, which is the Page of Pentacles, and this is a card that speaks to being persistent with things, and also being skilled. So this is a card of the student. So we can be students. We're not just students when we don't stop being students when we graduate from college. You can always get new skills, and actually Gemini rules the area that is about teaching and learning, but the gaining of skills. And this is also this can also be news that you receive that has a connection to money, because Pentacles relate to, I would also say like work perhaps, but definitely money. Pentacles relate to the earthly matters. And this can also be a news about children. There's contracts can be involved. Of course, the mid-month period, as this reading is set for the middle of the month, is the time up until then when things should be pretty forward moving. But then we're going to start to have the shadow period of Mercury, and that might be when you notice some slowdowns or snafus, even in the shadow period, with any kind of communication. So just keep that in mind, whatever it is that you are waiting for, if it's some kind of word about something. Another thing about this particular card is it could be about realistic goals. So, looking at the 4 of Wands in reverse and the other card too, if you're thinking about, for instance, a new career and you're deciding between 2 things, having this sense of realism about it can be very important, so that you're not like being overly optimistic, which sounds terrible because I love optimism. But sometimes people, take it to the extreme, and then they're very disappointed because their expectations were so grandiose. And for some of you, you may be branching out, and that could be why the Two of Wands is even, in this reading, because you have something else that you would like to do that could be completely different from what you're doing right now. And again, I'm sure a lot of you know that there's going to be an eclipse in your sign in June, but it's going to be during that Mercury retrograde. So there still is going to be things that are unsettled, unresolved. What crosses you is the Son of Cups, which is the Knight of Cups. And one of the things that they were talking about is this sense of collaboration. Perhaps there's somebody, I don't know if this would be like specifically a Pisces. I always associate the Knight of Cups with Pisces. But somebody that you're dealing with who may be very unrealistic themselves, and they kind of like suck you into their fantasy and their wild dreams, and it's not necessarily something that is viable. So make sure that if you are collaborating with somebody, or you have a partner, you're partnering with somebody, that one of you is more of the grounded, practical type. Because if you're both kind of like the idea people, there's nobody to kind of look at the situation from a grounded manner. Also, with the Knight of Cups in the challenge position, make sure you are not an easy mark for a narcissist or a con artist, a grifter, because that's what the Knight of Cups in reverse can be. And this person can promise the moon and the stars. And if this is a real estate deal, I mean, this doesn't have to be your career where this is happening. If this is connected to real estate and things like that, if this is a person that you are dealing with, either it's a partner, like a business partner, or even a friend that wants to work with you, this person can be a suck up, and they can tell you what you want to hear. And if you're not careful, you might actually fall for it and then find out that they are just in it for the money, and they're just trying to get one over on you. So be very careful about, being complimented, but the person isn't really very trustworthy. What is coming in is represented by the Six of Pentacles. And it's funny that I'm getting, these cards with Pentacles, because here's another Pentacles. Not that I guess that this is only the second one, but I've been, in other readings, I've been noticing this. And of course, as I record this, we are in Taurus season, and we're approaching a new moon here. So I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that this is kind of front and center on some people's minds. So the Six of Pentacles can be a card of equal or fair, whatever you want to call it, give and take when it comes to energy. Now, Pentacles relates to material energy. So, certainly we could talk about if you are, choosing between two job offers, let's say, and you decide to choose a particular one, that it gives you that sense of fairness when it comes to, you being fairly compensated, something like that. And if this is, I haven't been reading this as a romantic type of reading, because sometimes it seems like I'm always doing that, based on the cards. And this one seemed much more to do with people's career paths. But in that case, the Knight of Cups in reverse could be someone who is a con artist, but is very flattering And whether they're lying or not is a different story, but they may flatter you and you might get sucked into it. And with the Page of Pentacles, kind of as a spiritual message, talking about starting off on solid ground with someone else. You know, it's very easy to get carried away when you become infatuated with someone. And sometimes, of course, it's a physical desire. Sometimes it is a romantic fantasy. You know, it can be either one of those. And I would say with the Knight of Cups in reverse, it would be more of a romantic fantasy. And yet the Page of Pentacles is about grounded communication that is coming from a place of stability, not a place of deception or kind of fantasy, which is different than deception. Some people are like, you know, trying to be deceptive, but some people are just unintentionally that way because they have their own part of themselves that is very into fantasy life. And so they kind of, you know, put it on someone else. But this is about, you know, having that sense of, you know, you giving of yourself and the other person giving of themselves. And you have like this exchange you could call it an equal exchange in the relationship, instead of a one-sided relationship. Now, as the outcome card, I did get a card that I don't end my readings on, which is the Five of Swords. The reason I don't end my readings this way is because the Five of Swords can be a card of slander, gossip, any kind of deceitful behavior, but especially from a verbal angle. So what I'm seeing here is with the top row, there's something very good. There's like this opportunity for you, but somehow somebody could be mucking it up. And like, let's say it was even a relationship and you have met somebody. Maybe it's a fire sign, you know, because those wands are on the top level. And, you know, they certainly would be compatible for Gemini. So Sag or Aries or Leo person. And this Knight of Cups in reverse individual knows or senses that you have met somebody else, and they try to come back into the picture. Actually, during Mercury retrograde, sometimes an ex will come back into the picture. Or if this is a new job offer that you are mulling over, and there is someone. Now, the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups are a little bit different energies. Even in the reversed, where it could be age difference, that this person's younger, but certainly immaturity, and they're not fully developed emotionally, so they manipulate and try to get you to change your opinion on something because they want to control the situation. Even though they may have exited it, they may have left you, they come back for more because that's just how they seem to roll. And I picked the card as the clarification card, and I got the Hermit. And this was kind of going along with that new moon in the 12th house. If you can establish some kind of meditation practice, Gemini, because you do have a very active mind, or other types of spiritual practices that are very centering, all of the decisions that you have to make can go so much smoother. And also, discernment becomes easier. So in other words, being able to, your intuition being greater and you being able to make decisions not only easier, but also with greater clarity. Anybody can make a decision, but sometimes people make bad decisions consistently because they're tuning into the wrong thing. They're emphasizing the wrong thing in their life. And so the Hermit is about inner wisdom and your inner light, which is very individualistic. It's not about listening to other people's opinions about what you should do, because, this is one of the things I don't think people understand, is that other people are going to give you advice based on what they would do, and they're not you. And so, yeah, I mean, occasionally, sometimes you might have a friend, for instance, who is just like really wise, and they are able to transcend their own mindset, and they can, actually give you advice on what might be good for you because they can tune into you very well. But that kind of person, I think, is pretty rare. Most people are telling you things based on their own experiences and their own value system and all of that. So Gemini is so open to everything as it relates to, ideas, that you might not tune into your own ideas and your own essence, which is really what the Hermit card is, that inner light. And, some people talk about the higher self and that kind of thing, the soul. That can be where it's at, but I also think there's like, even in our worldly sense, we do have, even with our earthly mind, not even cosmic consciousness, but our logic, it's coming from our own path, and we illuminate that path. Nobody else can do that for us. So there's a lot good here. There really is. It's just a question of seeing those people who may not have your best interests at heart and being able to separate them from those who want the best for you. Okay, that's what I have for you, Gemini. I hope that this resonated. If you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. Take care.